aside from him, and if he's not on a particular night, and again, you can't. He's not LeBron James. He's not going to in his prime. He's not going to score 25 points a night. You can't have a player carry you, one guy, all the way to the playoffs. And I think that we're seeing now the limitations on the current construction of this Mariner lineup, and I think they're just going to have more of the internal guys step up and put the ball in play a bit more, maybe even change the approach a little bit.
Yeah, and, again, we referred to the numbers from last year, and, last year actually they were pretty high as far as home runs go. They were 12th, their ranking, but, I mean, if you look at average on-base percentage, slug, OPS, all those things, they were anywhere from 26 to 30, and so you just can't get it done. Average, they were number 28. And then on-base percentage. And you're right, they had it going for a while there with the walks. They were getting guys on base, and that was a little bit better. They did improve on-base percentage last year. They ended up at 15, but I just remember the talk was if we can just get mid-range, and that's what Cal has gotten you. And actually with home runs, I mean, he's top 10. Listen to me, I'm saying he's top 10. It pretty much is just Cal, but they are top 10. So, yeah, it's kind of frustrating that you have somebody that's having such a great, year, and then it's not materializing into wins. And I know that's what Cal wants. That's all he cares about. I'm sure he loves this hitting streak that he's on right now, but I mean, we know from like his interview at the end of the year last year, he was like, he wants to win. Mm-hmm. And that's why he signed the long-term contract here, and he believes they can win here. So, yeah, it's frustrating right now. And it just, I was listening to Curtis on the way in, just asking the question, like, what are the answers? What do we do here? And it's a difficult question.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're about to get to that, but I am curious, and we'll see if we get some realistic answers. So realistically, what could you do short-term right now for the Mariners? By Friday, what could you do to fix this? 866-979-3776. What would you do by the time they take the field on Friday to fix this lineup? Because I hope that right now is the low point of the season. Because if it's not, then this season is in trouble. It really is. The Astros have kind of started to solidify themselves again. They're 3.5 games up. The Mariners have now fallen into a tie with the Angels. So they're no longer even in second place by themselves in a division that is completely under 500 outside of the Astros, who are now 36-30. So I would hope that this stretch where you came off 3 series where you were almost swept, 3 series losses, the home stand against Baltimore, you were swept. The Angels series on the road, you had to rally. Despite a terrific pitching performance by George Kirby, you had to rally again, and they did. But outside of that, you're looking at a massive losing streak. So just one win in these last 3 series. If this is not the low point of the season, then you're going to be in trouble, because the Astros are only going to get healthier, because right now the offense has just fallen back to worst in baseball in a lot of categories. So like you were saying, if they get back to better, if they get back to in the teens of league average, around 15, 16 in a number of categories, like on base percentage or runners in scoring position. Right now they have the 3rd worst batting average with runners in scoring position. Only the Rockies and Guardians are worse. And it's kind of the caveat, well, if you're being compared to the Rockies, that's not great because they're on pace to be the worst team in baseball history. So when you're talking about real teams, the Mariners are just there with the Guardians or the Orioles or teams like that. So it's fallen off the cliff. Now, yes, the question is, what can you do to fix it? And there's probably not a simple answer. I mean, we can get to a number of things about potential short-term and then things you can do over the rest of the season. But I think one thing, Dave, that really stood out to me in this series was just the glaring discrepancy in corner infield production. And because it happened in key moments. And yesterday, I talked about the Naylor envy I had, the Josh Naylor envy after just one game. Well, he continued to follow that up. He finished 8 for 12 this series. 6 RBI. Now, most of those came on Monday night where he had the grand slam and he drove in 5 runs. But 8 for 12. And then Gino Suarez today, and he's always going to be kind of compared directly to whatever the Mariners are doing at third. But today he had the grand slam, and he was 3 for 4. So those corner infield spots, you're just not getting a lot of offensive production, and that's where you need your big bats to be. So I think when you point at the glaring issues for the Mariners, I would start there of, hey, you got to get some more consistency from your corner infield.
Was Naylor ever on like the trade block or anything like that, or was it just a matter
we were
of...
looking at that. He was traded for last year, this offseason, the Diamondbacks. They traded away one of their better prospect pitchers and a pretty high draft pick. But it was not an unrealistic price.
Right.
So, of course, hindsight being 2020, you go back and say, well, could the Mariners have done that? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
At the time, I'm sure they thought they had at least some semblance of, all right, we have Luke Raley and a combination of someone else here at first. So you're seeing that absence be felt in a big way. And it's not to say that Luke Raley would solve a lot of these problems, but you do put in Rowdy Tellez maybe in more beneficial situations, or Donovan Solano in situations where you have that platoon advantage. Where, hey, Donovan Solano, he's the one guy you probably can't criticize right now. And he's gotten a lot of scrutiny and he's gotten a lot of criticism, but he's hitting pretty well right now. He had the home run today. Outside of that, though, it's just you're not getting a lot of consistent production from your power spots. So I don't know. That's not a immediate fix. So that wouldn't really answer the question of what's your immediate fix. But if you're looking down the line to what's your trade deadline move, it's got to be at least first base, some kind of corner bat to help this lineup.
Yeah, I remember thinking that when he was last year when he was in Cleveland, and I think he killed us in that series as well. And yeah, first base is a big one. I mean, Ben Williamson, I so love watching that kid play defense. He's really good, but he just that's not a power bat really there. But so what are the things that you do? I mean, I guess in the short term, you could move the rotate or move the lineup around a little bit, kind of try to manipulate it that way. And then, you obviously have the opportunity to bring guys up, although you don't want to, I know they're very particular about when they bring guys up and they don't want to ruin a guy. And then, of course, you got the trade deadline coming up as well. So, I don't know. I mean, I was listening to Dan on the way in, driving over from Seahawk practice, and he, I felt sorry for him because he's like, what do you say after a game like that when your bats just go cold and, in that series and they're just in a slump? And he's like, yeah, well, we're just going to have to get out there and get after it, But, I don't know if he thinks that, there's anything drastic that needs to be done, but, I don't know. In the meantime, I guess that's the only thing you could probably do, right? Is, change the lineup.
Yeah, because I think your three options, and none of these would be the immediate fix by Friday. Do nothing and wait for everyone to get healthy. Mm-hmm. And then you hope Luke Raley is healthy. And then when the trade deadline comes, you make that move. And if Robles does come back, maybe you're still in shouting distance in September when he's supposedly going to come back. So it would be do nothing. Wait for everyone to get healthy and hope that some semblance of what you had during your 9-series win streak settles back in, that internal adjustments are made, players taken upon themselves. Call up guys who are close to being ready, like a Tyler Locklear or Harry Ford. Those are the only two I can think of that would be ready feasibly right now. They have a very talented, loaded farm system. All those guys are very young. They're down at high A. So you have a bunch of loaded prospects in Everett. You would never rush someone up like that. But Tyler Locklear has been up here. He played on the Mariners last year a couple of times. Harry Ford has been on the precipice. While it wouldn't be the normal prudent move, according to how they like to bring along their prospects, maybe you just need some kind of spark, like Cole Young provided in that series against the Twins. He went through a little bit of a blip after that, but now he's kind of stabilized. He wasn't in the lineup today, got the day off, but he had, 3 straight games with a hit. He kind of helped that rally on Monday night. His first series, he did have that hit and then that RBI fielder's choice to help them get the win. So, okay, maybe in a normal situation, you're not bringing these guys up, but it's a stopgap. Locklear comes up, see what he can do. And then you give Tellez and Solano kind of those coming off the bench at bats where as an everyday player, maybe they're a little overexposed, but in key situations, we've seen both of them come through in select moments. And then a Harry Ford, there's that potential, the what if. So you do that, or, and I think this is not possible at all, you try to pull off an early trade. And it's still extremely early for the trade deadline, but we saw Luis Arraez get traded really early last year. So if the Mariners are going to say, okay, we just need someone right now, then you try to trade for, theoretically Ryan O'Hearn, who, that's been thrown out there as a name, the Orioles first baseman. So I don't know. Out of those three options, is there anyone to you that you think works? Or is it like, hey, players only meeting, see what happens. These guys just have to kind of take it upon themselves to find a way to have better at-bats up there? We've talked about this a lot. It's so tough to just say, here's the solution for baseball, because you like to say, you can't try harder.
Right.
They're already trying their hardest.
Right.
So, yeah, I think any of those, I'm not sure if any of them will work, but I feel like those are the three options right now.
Well, and then the other question, for trades is, okay, who are you trading?
Yeah.
What are you giving up? But, to me, I think the most palatable thing to me is actually Harry Ford. I mean, I know he's only 22 years old, but I just think his maturity, and when you listen to him, and we've talked to him, gosh, I think it was 2 years ago, down in Peoria. He's 20 years old at that time. And he's just very mature, and a guy that I don't think he seems pretty unflappable. So if you bring him up and, he has a bad experience, I don't think that's going to ruin him or anything. But, who knows? But I guess that to me is the one that I would say is most acceptable. But I don't know. And if you're going to have to trade away, some of your arms, because a lot of people are looking for good pitching, then that's what you got to do. But I mean, I don't know. It seems like Cal has made it very obvious how you have to have good offense. I mean, if you just look at him alone. Now, I know he's having a ridiculous year, and you don't ever expect that kind of year from a player, but you see the effect that he's had on this offense. And, maybe if you get just an extra bat for Cal, it's like if just somebody else could do what I'm doing. I think, Julio actually has a decent batting average over the last, month and a half. It's like, I think they were saying that before the game. It's like of the last 30 games, he's like 344 or something like that. So, that's okay, but it's not like he's coming up with hits in big situations. You mentioned the RISP earlier, and it's not happening in clutch situations with him.
Yeah, Julio, he had a nice game, couple of doubles, 3 for 4. But until then, it was strange that, and this, kind of magnifies the problem as well, I think you were getting at, Dave, is that all their hits in this Diamondback series felt like they were singles. It was certainly the case on Monday night where, they were out hitting the Diamondbacks, or I think out hit them at the end of the game, but all those hits until like a Rosarena's double in the 7th were singles, and then in that 9th inning until the Canzone home run, all singles. So you're making more at-bats happen to generate runs, and with this lineup, it's just not deep enough to do that. So there's the issue with the Mariners lineup right now. It's not deep enough if you're going to have an inning where you are, just passing the baton, getting guys on base and getting them in, because once you get past that top 3 or 4 in the order, you just don't have the consistency. So that worked earlier in the season because you had those at-bats behind someone like Cal Raleigh. Now it's just very hit or miss for, game to game, or even over the course of a game. We've seen the Mariners, like in that Angels series, put up 4 runs in an inning, in that first inning, and then they don't find a run really the rest of the way. So until you find that consistency, they're not going to be any kind of offense that can day in and day out support this pitching staff.
I think this is what C-Raj was talking about, but I apologize if it wasn't this stat. But in the month of June, which not a huge sample size, it's 9 games, but he's batting 333, which is great, but he's got 1 extra base hit. Everything else is a single, and he's slapping singles, and that's great. But yeah, that's not really what he's paid for, right? He's got 12 singles, and he's got the 1 triple, and that's it. So not hitting for power.
Yeah. Well, the 2025 All-Star ballot is open, and we just talked about Cal Raleigh and how much he deserves a spot there because of what he's done this season. So help him get that starting catcher spot. Cal needs your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. Vote 5 times per day, every day through June 26th at MLB.com/vote. So, yeah, an off night for the Mariners coming up, and then they are back in action at home to begin a series against the Guardians. And then they stay at home next week to host the Red Sox. It's going to be interesting to see how this team looks coming out on Friday. So we'll talk about that. We have a couple days to talk about that. But Dave, you were out at minicamp again today. Seahawks minicamp did wrap up, and we heard one thing about Nick Emmanwori that should bode well for his acclimation to the NFL. Get into that up next. Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Brock and Salk.
Coach McDonald, is there anything that could happen other than an injury between now and the beginning of the season that would lead to a different quarterback?
No, this is a crazy question. There's just not going to, like, Sam's our starting quarterback. I think it's funny that the media is out there for like the first day and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are. And it's like, we don't even put on pads yet. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy question.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain. And and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Seattle home prices, well, they just keep going up, and you might be ready to take advantage. If you're getting ready to sell or just moved into a new home, now is the time to get a thorough inspection of your crawl space and attic. And don't do it yourself. You don't want to be crawling around in there. You probably don't even really know what to look for. It's Mike Salk here, and Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to, so you can know if there's anything going on in your crawl space or attic without having to crawl into and evaluate those spaces on your own. A free inspection will let you know if your home is energy efficient and if the air you're breathing is clean and safe. Plus, there are some really great utility rebates available right now to help you with the cost of the new installation if it's needed. How nice would it be to get someone else to cover that cost? Had them out to my house, and it was a great idea. Did that free corner-to-corner inspection, found some issues, they took the pictures, showed them to me, and then solved the problem. No issues since. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Matt knows how to intimidate people, doesn't he?
Oh, sure does.
All he does is glare through the glass and go, "What?"
You know what? We kind of ruined his day today, Dave, because, day 2 of Seahawks minicamp, you were out there, and Matt texted me earlier and said, "You guys are doing the show from out there today, right?" I said, "No, we're coming in to annoy you." And he was thrilled by that news.
Half an hour into the show and mission accomplished. Lefko, well done.
But how annoying is it that when we're out there, you have to text us coming back from every break?
It's the worst. You've been doing this long enough that you should know how long the breaks are.
Is that worse than having us in here in studio to bother you?
Oh, no, I'd rather send the text.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
it's so peaceful in here when I'm
by
alone.
himself. That outweighs any kind of minor inconvenience of texting. You can just hit copy, paste, text. It's a quick process. So I'm sure Matt is thrilled to have us back. You do have the room to yourself, the cool room, as you've dubbed it.
Cool room.
Yeah.
That's the second time that Lefko has led the show, and after the first segment gone, "Is it hot in here?"
It was. I don't know why the air conditioning got cranked up. I'm disappointed in C-Raj. He likes to keep it cool like most normal people, but it got cranked up. 72, Dave. That's not a feasible room to be in. I think everyone would agree on the text.
According to my wife, 72 degrees is boiling hot. So, yeah, I mean, she's always cold. And I'm like, "No, it is not. It's freezing in here. It's not freezing." But I like to keep it at like 71, 70, something like that.
Yeah,
no?
that's too warm.
Really?
Yeah, that's too warm.
Too
also.
warm, huh?
Yeah. You got to go lower.
Wow.
Like 68, 67.
Well, you guys don't have spouses to worry about. And in that regard, I envy you.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. When it comes to air conditioning, better not to have a spouse. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dave, you were out there at Seahawks minicamp today. We both watched Nick Emmanwori a little bit yesterday. He has become such a presence out there already. And I'll start with a broad question to you, and then we'll kind of dig into it a little bit more. But just kind of broad surface level, what are your expectations for Emmanwori this season?
Yeah, I expect him to be a significant contributor. Now, whether or not he starts, I think a lot of times will be like personnel groupings and things like that. And so, it's funny. I mean, I know on defense there's so many different variations, and same thing on the offensive side of the ball, but it's like it used to be like I'm a starter, right?
Yeah.
And I'm one of the 11 starters. Now it's like you might end up not starting and playing, more reps than the guy that did start. So I think because of all the different ways that they're using him, you kind of saw that with Spoon, right? Like you saw him making all kinds of plays everywhere, and they just did a really good job of incorporating him into the defense. And and if Emmanwori, if that's the case for him, he looks like a guy that can pretty much do anything. I mean, he had a fair amount of interceptions, 6, but the way he played the ball in the air, just watching some of his highlights at South Carolina, it looks like, like I'd said before, I think he's a little bit ahead of Cam Chancellor. Cam got to be much better at that, and then ended up getting picks right and left and scoring touchdowns and all that. But I think if he can be a ball hawk, and that just takes a while of getting confident out there, but he's got one of the best in the business in Julian Love to help him get things worked out. But I expect him to be, like I said, a significant contributor, a guy that you rely on that defense.
You know what was really encouraging? Hearing this yesterday from Mike McDonald describing one trait that already he and kind of everyone has noticed about Emmanwori.
Well, Nick keeps showing up. I got to tell him, hey, man, like, doors closed, like, knock. No, but Nick's been up there a bunch. I mean, look, we want to. I'm proud of the atmosphere that we're creating, where guys are in and out of the offices, talking to coaches, not necessarily about football, but just what's going on. Feels a lot like we had going on at Michigan to a certain extent, and that speaks to the guys that are in the building, our coaches, the job they're doing, the relationships they're building. Anytime you're talking ball, especially with the guys, it doesn't get much better than that. And look, Coops, he's gone against our defense, and he kind of knows how people attack us, and why wouldn't you run some ideas by him to see what he thinks? So I think we got some approval on that front.
He's got so many nicknames. Coops?
Yeah.
Is that what he said there? So, yeah, Cooper Kupp is a guy that he'd be a wealth of information. I was talking about that with when they did the all 50 Seahawks, the two guards that got in that were in my era, Brian Millard and Edwin Bailey, and how they helped me immensely, just sharing information and everything. But I love that Emmanwori is like coming into his office. The game has changed so much. Chuck Knox, that was the last place I ever wanted to be. And probably one of the more ballsy things that I've ever done. My rookie year, my agent told me, go in there and ask him for a trade. So I had to go into Chuck Knox's office and ask to be traded. I thought he was going to behead me. He was just very intimidating, and it's so different. But I love that, he has that kind of rapport with his players and for Emmanwori to come in and just constantly, asking questions. And when we interviewed him, he was just on top of it, man. Really a sharp guy. And then even when I asked him about the interception or knock somebody out, he knew to reference the 49ers. And if it's a 49er, I'd rather knock him out. And so I think he's very mature that way. And I expect him to, because look, this is the guy they had graded as a first rounder.
Right.
And they ended up getting him at 35, but that doesn't mean, that he's not a first rounder. And I think if they would have had the next pick after Gray Zabel, they would have taken him.
When it comes to football aptitude, it feels like he is well beyond a rookie. Just hearing that from Mike McDonald. And it kind of sounds familiar in a couple of ways to how he would talk about Devin Witherspoon last year. When Mike McDonald would talk about Witherspoon, there seemed to be kind of a smile, and he'd always be very endearing towards Witherspoon because there was that back and forth, and he could see the potential in Witherspoon, and Witherspoon was wanting to get better. And I think we heard similar conversations of Witherspoon always talking, always in there asking questions. And now to hear that Emmanwori kind of is doing something similar, it's not going to be an apples to apples. Like, he'll come in and have the same immediate impact, and you shouldn't expect that Emmanwori is exactly like Devin Witherspoon in his rookie season. But I think it's always encouraging to hear, well, this is a guy who you expect a lot of because of when he was drafted, because the Seahawks traded up to get him, and he is in there already constantly trying to get better in the midst of a defense that we expect to be really good this season.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say for people that are, what are the expectations for Emmanwori? I really expect him, and I don't know if it's, like I said earlier, sometimes the package and the way that they play him may limit him maybe a little bit, but again, significant contributor, because really I think you can look at him exactly like Gray Zabel, and what they say in the NFL is that if you're drafted in the first round, you're a starter. You need to be a starter, and if you're not, it's really a disappointment. So yeah, I think that would be my prediction on where he's going to be this year.
Yeah, and Julian Love has noticed a lot about Emmanwori as well.
I think that's the number one word you'll hear is versatility. He can do a lot. He did a lot in college, and Coben and I pride ourselves in doing a lot. And I think for us to be successful as kind of a safety room, you have to. We can be really good if we can come down in the slot, we can play deep in the field, we can play in the box. I think we all do that well. Obviously, Nick, just his physical traits can make him really excel. But I think all of us really complement each other well in that regard.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They're the really good offensive coordinators these days over the last decade are starting to get back to attacking the middle of the field. And so, maybe that's why the Seahawks are putting all their focus on the interior part of their defense. And because, the one position group, well, I'd say inside backer also, that maybe, they need a little bit of depth there. But the biggest worry probably is corner as far as having a full roster. But yeah, that the importance and the emphasis on, just defending the middle of the field has gotten to be a priority. So it'll be interesting to see, how much he gets in there. But again, consider him a first rounder, and consider him to be a starter, and that should be the expectation for him. But I love that he's asking questions because, a lot of times you get guys that come in, they kind of think they know everything. And, a guy that's asking questions, he's curious, and he's trying to get smarter. He's trying to, gain knowledge. And it's just kind of a cool story also that he just constantly going in and out of his office.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I think I might have some concerns about Sam Darnold, but they're off the field, specifically in one aspect of his life. We'll hear about that when we sweep the dial. That's up next on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We did a lot of baseball talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. If Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I don't even know. It would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
You want to get to where you're going in safety, comfort, and style. The perfect ride, the perfect wheels, the way the road makes you feel. Hazelwood's a perfect drive. Hazelwood has it all. Hazelwood has it all.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hey 12, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, Cooper Kupp has some issues with his new quarterback, Sam Darnold. But Dave, don't worry. It's only when it comes to his food choices.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he kind of has a childish taste, like palate. You know, like we went out to dinner and he's talking. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust him yet with the food recommendations and things like that. He said he wanted to go to dinner. I was like, perfect. That's what sounds good. And I mean, it just the recommendations, kind of the way it came off was like he wanted to go get some, fries and chicken strips. And I was like, look, I have a 6-year-old. I can bring you his food. We can go. I'll go. I can bring that, and I'll go eat something good. So yeah, that was. But it ended up being fine. Like he ventured out and was like, okay. He was at least willing to try some stuff, and it seems like maybe I may have misread him. We'll see.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
A childlike food palate.
A childish food palate. Yeah. I think Matt was the first one to give me crap about eating Lunchables from downstairs.
Oh, your redneck charcuterie.
I was going to say we all have, but I think Bob
it's
and I are
pronounced
more concerned.
Carcucci.
Yeah.
Oh, right, of course.
We're concerned more for your health. Matt, glad to be making fun of you.
Yeah, I don't care about your health. I just wanted to make fun of you.
Yeah, lead. That's okay if there's
that
lead
makes
in
sense.
it. Yeah. You can appreciate that then, huh? Just want some good chicken strips and fries instead of a steak.
The fact that you can give somebody crap means, number one, they're a good, normal, humble person, but then also it just reflects like familiarity, right? And so it's you love that when you hear teammates. It's like that the whole lie detector thing with Cal and Logan. Have you watched that whole thing through?
Yeah.
It's like 17 minutes long. But you can tell that Cal and Logan, they're best friends. But yeah, when you reach a certain level where you can give somebody crap and it's actually like a compliment to your relationship, That's pretty cool. So I love that they're bonding early.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, Dave, I wanted you to hear this for two reasons. First of all, because unlike you, Mike McDonald cherishes punters. And also, you just mentioned that he has some interesting nicknames. He has another one here when talking about Michael Dixon.
Yeah, really excited to get Michael done. Great job by the guys in the front office. Dicko is he's the premier punter in the league. So hopefully we showed that with numbers involved. But he's a weapon for us. I mean, the stats show it. The film shows it. And he's got a great just attitude about him, great personality. Guys love him. But yeah, really excited to have him here for the long haul.
What nickname would you rather have, Big Dumper or Dicko?
I don't know. Probably Big Dumper.
I'd rather find a new job.
I don't think I'd like being called Dicko. It fits his name, I guess.
Yeah, that's an interesting one there. No, it's funny that he is one to just with the nicknames. I mean, over and over. Like when we had him in, there was and then JB and Joe Bob and blah blah. I mean, it was just on and on and on. I was like, wait, who's that guy? What's that guy's name again? So yeah, he loves the nicknames.
I think going back to what you said about Kupp and Darnold, though, it's a familiarity thing too, right? He's obviously comfortable with these players, and they can bond with him. So you hear that kind of shorthand. Yeah, I know these guys well. I wanted you to hear Dicko and respond to it. I'm being honest. That's the only reason we played that. So yeah, I don't really care. We talked about his contract extension yesterday, but just had to hear that.
$4
Dicko.
million. Were you kind of surprised that $4 million? Was it the total or was it just the rate?
No,
the
that I'm not sure. I believe it is per year is the highest, but I'm not sure. That is, not a lot of money NFL-wise, but I guess a lot for a punter.
Yeah, honestly, we're to the point now where that seemed low to me. But like I said,
we'll look it up.
Dicko he's an amazing weapon as far as pinning people inside the 5-10 yard line. And I just remember looking at a stat on defense that it goes by the yard line. So if you're at the 5 yard line, you've got a 5% chance basically of scoring a touchdown, and then so on and so on, 90% at the 10 yard line basically. So when you can pin somebody inside the 5, it's just such a huge weapon. So nice that they got him locked down. But
I have the numbers, Dave.
What is it?
Yes, it is per year and by total value. And what they did, so Logan Cook, the Jacksonville punter, had just signed a contract, I believe. Yeah, so Cook and Cole for the Raiders just signed contracts. Logan Cook's was $16 million, so the Seahawks just slid over that 16.2 in order to get him as the highest.
That's pretty cool. They basically paid $200,000 to let Michael Dixon know that's how much they appreciate him. So that's nice. But I would say also the familiarity we talked about with Mike and his players. Make no mistake, if you get on his bad side, or I don't think he's a guy that carries grudges or anything, but he commands respect and he demands enthusiasm and doing your job and everything like that. So it's not like he's all buddy with the players or anything. If they're playing right and they're doing the right thing and doing their assignments, everything, then yeah, let the nicknames fly. Dicko.
Sweeping the dial.
It's got to be Matt's new nickname because he loves it so much.
If we say it one more time, I think I'm going to have to dump it.
I think I have a new word that I can say on the air and not get in trouble.
And annoy Matt.
I got to talk to Kyle.
Wins all around. Oh, it's a name. We heard it. We're not saying it. Mike McDonald said it. So we'll see. We'll get clarification on that. But speaking of Mikes, Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins head coach, had an interesting answer when he was asked about Jalen Ramsey not being at their minicamp.
Surprised it's taken this long to find a resolution with the team.
I don't personally, and I would lump you into this with me. I don't give about what I feel. I'm not. I don't even really go down that road of how do I feel about it. My job is to react and control my controllables and make sure that people are moving in one direction appropriately.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel has some very odd ways of answering questions. You know, I mean, I guess he could have said, this is not about how I feel.
Right.
You know, but he said he didn't give a crap about his own feelings.
Yeah.
Just the way he puts things. Remember when we played the Dolphins, I thought it was kind of a battle of the nerds there. But, yeah, our own little nerd, Mike McDonald, and then McDaniel. He seems like he would be a good coach to play for. You know, like I don't want to say he's a player's coach, but I think the more straightforward you are, and it seems like McDaniel is that way as well, but especially McDonald, he's going to tell you exactly where you stand, or you're going to know where you stand. So, I think that's the most important thing to players. Now, you know, like Emmanwori coming into, I think that's something a concession that you give to the young guys to kind of make them feel at home. But then when they become pros, you know, that's really all they want. They don't want to come in your office all the time. They want to know what the truth is and where do I stand and what do I need to do to get better and things like that. And I think both of those guys have that.
Well, there's one element, Dave, that we've seen out of the Seahawks team, kind of a throwback element, and it's one reason why they should get back to being in that level of championship contender relatively quickly, or at least if this carries over, it bodes well for their success. Get into that coming up next. Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We had a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know. They would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you take a drastic step of having surgery, and if you're in pain, I recommend you join Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for a free live stem cell webinar. It's Wednesday, June 18th at 6 p.m., and the webinar will educate you on how stem cell therapy can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate cartilage in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain and osteoarthritic joints even. Learn all about this amazing procedure and how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how Dr. Wagner determines if you're a good candidate or not. And he's performed over 20,000 procedures, so he should know. And he has had tremendous success using stem cell therapy to repair shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. So are you in pain? Join Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at his live stem cell webinar on Wednesday, June 18th at 6 p.m. if you are. It's free, so register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, and outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476, or project ideas, explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Calling all contractors and equipment operators. The James G. Murphy Auction Company rolls out this month one of the biggest heavy equipment auctions of the summer. On the block, find an incredible collection of heavy equipment, contractors' equipment, and vehicles, like a 2004 John Deere 400C rock truck, a 2010 John Deere 450D LC excavator, a 2001 John Deere 650H LT dozer, and a 2014 Kenworth T800. In contractors' equipment, we have attachments, live edge and dimensional lumber, contractor tools, even a wheel wash system, and much more up for bid. Whether you're building roads, moving earth, or running a construction outfit, we got what you need. Bidding starts 10 a.m. June 12th and closes at 10 a.m. June 19th. Preview all items June 17th and 18th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our location in Marysville, 3803 136th Street Northeast. For pictures and details of all items, visit murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Seahawks finished up minicamp today, and they officially announced that training camp begins Wednesday, July 23rd. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler also reports that free agent cornerback Shaquille Griffin is visiting the Raiders. He visited the Seahawks a few weeks ago. And some scores around baseball. The Angels have now moved into a tie with the Mariners at 33-34 on the season after a 6-5 win over the A's. The team that the Mariners are going to play starting on Friday, the Guardians, they won the finale against the Reds 11-2, but they avoided a sweep. They got that final game of the series. The Guardians have lost 3 straight series heading into their matchup against the Mariners.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
The Mariners did drop this series, and they were swept by the Diamondbacks, so we'll talk about that a little bit more. We got a couple of days to talk about it, though, as well, Dave. So we're going to kind of hit heavy on some Seahawks for the rest of the day today because minicamp just wrapped up. We were both out there yesterday. You were out there today as well. So plenty to take away from that. But it kind of seems like with this team that there is some healthy but competitive fire on both sides, and not in the way where it's antagonistic and it's detrimental, because you do have that on some teams. And, you know, maybe that spills over where it's not conducive to team chemistry and building yourself up. But at least to me, it just kind of seems like guys on both sides of the ball are pushing each other to get better and kind of with their work on the field, holding each other accountable to lift that standard for the Seahawks.
Yeah, you know, the last time I saw this, and it came from the defensive side as well, where it was a healthy competition, was the Legion of Boom.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the one thing I used to say that was so remarkable about them was that the defense would win 7-on-7 series, which is entirely weighted so the offense has success. I mean, there's no pass rushers and there's no linemen to throw over. You don't have to look for spaces to throw or anything. You just sit back there and pat the ball. And the Legion of Boom, they were picking off passes. Remember the story about Sherm picking off Russell Wilson and ran by him and told him he sucks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's there's none of that going on because I think there was some resentment in that case that I just described. But what you have is a really good defense. And these guys are, a lot of them they've played together. This is their first time. So for the offense, it's brand new. But for the defense, this is their second time through. And they, we know how they finished the season. They finished really strong. I mean, they were taking the ball away. They scored on defense. I mean, they were just rolling. So it's going to be kind of a catch-up period for the offense. And what they always say, iron sharpens iron. That's what Julian Love told us. When you're out there and it's really competitive, because look, NFL players are very competitive. I don't need to tell people that, but I mean, they want to win everything. And so those things become kind of a battle out on the field. And so I think, number one, you're going to see the defense have a lot of success just because they've been together. But then I think it's going to be really good for the offense to go up against one of the better defenses. And I think that really dragged that offense the year that they won the Super Bowl, having practiced against, Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and, the Legion of Boom, Brandon Browner. I mean, that I think Maxwell. I mean, I think that really helped Russell Wilson and just their offense in general to have to go up against some of the best defenders in the league. And, they have some of those. I mean, you could argue whether or not Julian Love is one of the better safeties. I could argue that. I think, Big Cat Williams, and we'll see what happens with Byron Murphy. I saw him make a really nice move today, and I think it was against the rookie, Gray Zabel, which is going to happen. Welcome to the NFL. But, he was just clean in the backfield, and they don't even have pads on. He put a nice move and was like 3 yards deep. So let's see, what happens there. But I think that's really going to help the offense. But, that's one of the things I noticed out there is that the defense, and I think there's been a lot of criticism and a lot of hand-wringing and worrying about the offense, right? Darnold throws some interceptions. Oh, he's patting the ball because nobody's open. I mean, you can look at that a couple of ways, and the good way to look at it is that our defense is really good. So I mean, I think that's going to help, the offense get better, and then it just speaks to how much better it's going to be this year with a year under your belt with this new defense.
Yeah, so here's what Cooper Kupp has noticed about the defense and specifically those defensive backs.
They talk a lot of talk, but they back it up. I mean, I love it. I mean, not just like talking trash, but they honestly like the communication. Usually when I've been in playing against them, you can't hear anything anyways. You know what I mean? But now like going out there, like hearing the communication, hearing the way that as the offense is moving, formations and shifts, how they're getting in and out of their calls and their mastery of what they're trying to do. It's really impressive, and that's what you need. I mean, you need guys that are doing that and making sure that they're on their stuff. Defense playing is one, and it's cool to see that and hear that from the defense side.
Yeah, I mean that, and look, I think defenses are always going to be ahead just because, I think offenses, it takes them a while to try to get all the little nuances down. I think it's easier to play good defense early on than it is offense. So that's the good news about them looking bad at practice is that they're facing a really good D.
Yeah, and I think there's a healthy respect. You mentioned the Sherman anecdote where he always probably pushed the offense to get better, but maybe it was a little antagonistic at times. It feels like it is a competition to make each other better because you truly want both sides of the ball to excel, because you heard that from Cooper Kupp. Julian Love, on the other side, gave it right back to Kupp and praised him for what he does to make their defense better.
I mean, he just has every tool of the trade. He's strong. Obviously, great hands. He's just such an effective route runner. He is just one of the best receivers in the league. He's shown it. Obviously, guarded him in games, so I know firsthand kind of what he brings to the table. But it's consistent work every day. He's coming in every day and just he's locked in. He's in the zone. He has some to him. Excuse my language, but he does, and so it's cool, and it's giving our DB some great looks. It's giving something that we weren't able to show really last year.
He's got some what in him?
He's got some bleep to him.
I couldn't figure that one out.
He's got some Michael Dixon to him.
Yeah.
Now I was about to look up in horror there.
Yeah, that's interesting hearing that from Julian Love. I mean, I think Cooper Kupp is going to make these guys a lot better. I mean, he's a veteran and just studying. And the one thing that Julian said there is the route running, and there's just so much to that. I mean, it's, like you describe a guy like DK Metcalf. He's huge. He looks like a statue. He can jump out of the building. He can run faster than anyone. And, that's usually the recipe. But for a guy like Cooper Kupp, it's kind of like Steve Largent that, he's just crafty. He knows, he reads things well, and he knows how to. And I was watching him do some of his work out there today, and that, like when they drop back in a zone, you're trying to cover kind of an area, and Cooper Kupp has a really good understanding of, like, should I just sit down here or should I try to loop around him? And, the timing of, the quarterback and where he's throwing the ball and all that. That's going to be something that, not only is going to help his cohorts on offense, but also on defense. It's really going to help them with, just making them better. So, yeah, I mean, he's a very interesting player. I can't wait to see the effect and hear from some of the defensive backs like Julian Love just on how much better he's making them.
Yeah, there's the great, what if with Cooper Kupp, what if he's not healthy? And then you can put that to Sam Darnold. And certainly there are reasons why you can be hesitant about this offense. And we'll talk about all those. We have a couple months still. They have a break now. When training camp gets going, we'll have a better sense of what this offense is and how it develops. But it does feel like this group has the pieces to get on the same page quicker and not have the stagnation of the offense or things not making sense or the confusion that existed at times in that offense. That, it undermined kind of what the defense was doing well at portions of the season last year. So I have no doubt about this offense's capability to execute. There are some concerns and unknowns just based on past performances that obviously are there that everyone's discussed and we'll continue to discuss. But one that I don't have is about Sam Darnold's leadership ability, because he seems like he is the guy to come in and bond this group. He's a different personality than Geno Smith, so you're doing that direct comparison of this was your recent quarterback, this is the guy you have now. And people are going to compare Geno's numbers and Sam Darnold's numbers, and okay, is it a similar just type of quarterback? But Sam Darnold seems like the guy that can help bond this unit quickly. And I was watching them yesterday, Dave, when they were stretching. He already has a great bond with Drew Lock. Those two were kind of chatting and joking around the entire time, and it seems like all the quarterbacks have gotten to know each other pretty well. And we heard Darnold talk about him throwing with Cooper Kupp and getting to know Kupp, so those two have gotten on the same page. And then Mike McDonald kind of was asked about Darnold, what his personality type is, and said, you know what? Don't sleep on Sam Darnold. He can get fiery at times when needed.
Yeah, he's got some stuff to him.
Does it?
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
No. We went against him. We felt it. Yeah, the thing you love about Sam is he's just a dude, man. He's he's like one of the guys. There's a sense of he's one of the guys, so he's right there with him and all the things. But that's him. But there's some to him. Like he's like, don't mess with him. He's got that edge to him, that competitiveness, and the guys respect that. And he's him. He's not trying to be anybody else, and you got to respect that about him.
You know who that sounds like? Sounds like he's describing Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, it kind of does.
I wish Bob was here. So he accused me of shoehorning Cal Raleigh into a Seahawks conversation.
Which is so funny that you being accused of just fitting baseball into a football conversation.
But I mean, that's very important that he is. I mean, and really the same with Cal. I mean, they're just regular guys that, they care about one another, and, that really matters. As much as people say they hate it when we say, oh, he's a great guy, I just said they care about each other, and I'm sure a lot of people are going, "Who gives a crap?" But it does matter, especially it's such a team game, and having your leader be that kind of guy kind of sets the tone for what your team's going to look like. So I really will be interested to see how the season plays out for him, and in the preseason, if he's probably going to get limited snaps, but just to see him put his stamp on this team, because we don't really know Sam Darnold. You got a chance to meet him, right, up in the booth before they threw out the first pitch.
Some would say we hung out.
Yeah. So
just a collective grouping of people up there. We talked basketball. Seemed like a fine guy.
Yeah.
I want to see this fire, though. I'm curious to see that fire and how it plays out.
What's
like
that?
McDonald, the fiery side of him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't usually do a quarterback very much good, but yeah, I mean, if there's a fight, I don't want him running headlong into the fight. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just got to be a guy that is authentic, and I say that all the time about coaches, and if that's your personality and who you truly are, and that comes out, otherwise players will sniff that out if you're a phony.
Yeah, and what you said about being a leader and being true to yourself, I think that's important because at some point, every team goes through adversity. There's not a team that has a season that is stress-free, that doesn't run into a rough patch, a little blip here or there.
Right.
Could be shorter for some teams. Maybe it's one game for really, really good teams. Maybe it's a 3-game stretch like the Seahawks had after they started 3-0, and then they kind of found level footing. But whatever it is, you're going to encounter adversity. So to have guys like this, where you can fall back and trust someone, and that's kind of what I was alluding to, of like wanting to see that fire, and maybe we never see it because it happens in the locker room. But what happens if the Seahawks team struggles? What kind of leader is Sam Darnold? And it sounds like it's going to be one that teammates really respect. So if you build up that equity that you can call guys out and hold them accountable, and now I'll shoehorn Cal Raleigh in here, Dave, because he is absolutely the guy that has undeniable trust among Mariners, that he could go to a guy and I think he would call him out in a proper way and say, you need to do this. And you love to bring up the Matt Brash example when he went out in the minors and went and talked to him and calmed him down and said, no, we're doing this. Or anything that Cal Raleigh does, he has built up enough that you trust him. And so for Darnold, if he shows that fire during adversity, sounds like his teammates have started to realize, all right, this is a guy that might hold us accountable, but we respect and understand that.
Yeah. And I think here's the thing about like leadership. I mean, every guy that comes into the NFL was probably the captain of the defense or offense, right? I mean, if you're a good enough player to get drafted in the NFL, then you were probably a leader in college. And so there's lots of different ways that he can do that. Or it could be just like one time, like you mentioned with Cal. I mean, when he went out and lit Brash up, that was the only thing we saw that season, and I think it was against Houston. And, that was the only time, but but you saw like, okay, here are his limits. This is his tolerance. And then, and I think most people really respected that, and you only have to do it once. So, yeah, I mean, I'll really be interested to see what his personality is like. I'll say this. I'm looking forward to it because it's been kind of a void there at quarterback as far as the personality goes. Yeah. And it's no knock on Geno other than that. I mean, that's just the way he is. That's the way he operates. He didn't let anybody kind of get in, and talk to him. And we never got a chance to sit down with him and ask him, what his favorite food is or anything like that. We just never really got to know him. So, getting to know, I think Sam Darnold will be really interesting, and I think that part of it matters. And like I said, you only have to do it a couple of times, and then everybody knows what you're about.
Well, Julian Love gave a little bit of insight about what Darnold's personality is potentially like.
It's like dad jokes. It's like kind of those type of kind of jabs, but you can tell okay, he has some fire to him. He's used to be kind of being around the guys, around the boys. He's just he's not a square type of guy. He's cool. He's cool with dishing it back a bit.
So Julian was saying that when Sam Darnold talks trash, it's more the dad joke.
It's the dad joke?
Yeah.
Okay, because at first I thought he was talking about McDonald.
No, that was Darnold. Yeah. So
because McDonald's got a fair share of dad jokes.
Well, he is a dad now, so I guess it fits for McDonald.
So
that was the Darnold personality. It was kind of a follow-up of Julian Love, again, being asked about McDonald's comment that we heard about Sam Darnold. So when Mike McDonald said, Sam Darnold has a little bit of bleep to him, Julian Love kind of echoed that sentiment as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first OTA, you guys weren't out there. The defense just picked up where we left off in terms of just chatter. Guys are just talking shit every play, it seems like, to the offense. And some of the new guys are probably looking like, okay, kind of set the tone and they kind of knew what it was. And then, yeah, Sam just has some stuff to him. I changed my verbiage on that one. He has some stuff to him. And Coop, he grinds. He's just a worker. He's a workhorse. He's going to do it. But Sam kind of has some of that little swag to him, and he has ability. And so he's making us better.
Yeah, that's really important that you have that, and it just it indicates confidence. If you're able to do that. So, but I think it'll be kind of fun. Hopefully, we get a chance to get to know Darnold, because we had a 2 or 3 year streak there where we didn't really know who the quarterback was. I'm sorry, he did everything that he had to do, Gino, and some guys just aren't that guy, and they don't want to be that guy. But I think people will appreciate having access to Darnold and kind of getting to know him a little bit more, because I don't think anybody really knew Gino. I mean, he stood up at a press conference every week and then after the games, but it was, whenever it's a press conference, it's basically kind of a canned answer, right? I mean, he gave some good responses every once in a while, but I don't think anybody really knew what Gino was fully about.
Well, I think, you could never question his competitiveness and desire to win.
Super competitive.
Maybe the most revealing quote or line was that very first one after the Monday night game against the Broncos and Russell Wilson. And there's this huge moment where the Seahawks win and Gino drops that, "They wrote me off, but I never wrote back." Yeah. So all of that kind of was his moniker the entire time. So you knew he valued winning to the utmost. But you're right, outside of that fire and that competition to win and that drive, you weren't really sure what else was there. And that's fine. That's what you want out of a quarterback. Ultimately, you want your quarterback to win above all else. But yeah, how does he handle adversity? How does he deal with teammates? Things like that. So we'll see what happens with Sam Darnold. It's easy to sit here and talk when nothing's happened yet, and the Seahawks have not played a game, and there hasn't been adversity or there hasn't been success. But at least right now, to this point, the only reference points we have, the only sample we have, it sounds like it's been a pretty smooth and cohesive process with all these new pieces on offense.
Well, and just real quick before we get to the break, that's just not my cup of tea. I think that Gino was fine. I liked him. I thought he was a good quarterback and everything, but that's just, he just wasn't that guy. And I'll say this for Gino: you've got to be authentic. You've got to be yourself. And so that just wasn't him. And I think he did definitely carry a huge chip on his shoulder, but and that's just who he is. But I just thought sometimes it went a little bit too far. But I don't know. I think everybody has their own style, and Russ had his style. It kind of started off corny, and then we accepted it, and then it kind of became corny again, based on him wanting to be traded and everything. And then, you go to Gino, and so now we're going to see what we get with Sam Darnold. And I do think their personality, like Dave Craig, we talk about Dave Craig and
got to get him on soon.
Goof on him all the time, and, Bob thinks it, it's funny and everything. But Dave was a great leader, man. I mean, he was one of those guys that, it'd be 40-7, and he'd, "Come on, we can win this game," and he was so competitive. So it'll be fun and interesting to watch Darnold's personality develop and see what kind of leader he is.
Yeah, so really the overarching point of this was we came on talking about kind of the bond between both sides of the ball and how these groups have pushed each other and how that competition has kind of brought everyone together. What I thought was really interesting yesterday when we were talking with Boye Mafe and you asked him, "Hey, who are you talking to, or who are you picking their brain on the other side of the ball?" Because you mentioned how you would do it with your offensive lineman or your defensive lineman that you played with. And he said, "Oh, yeah, talking to Charles Cross all the time."
Yeah.
And that really stood out to me because I know they interact in the locker room. I know they're around each other, but it is not the most natural thing for a guy on the other side of the ball to have that bond, right? You're with your defense more. You're with your teammates. You're with their position groups the majority of the time. So the fact that they're close, that two guys on opposite sides of the ball are close, really stands out. And I think, if you extrapolate out, it sounds like a lot of guys on both sides of the ball are close on this team.
Yeah, well, I think if you're a good teammate and you have good chemistry, everybody hangs out with everybody. I'll say this. In Denver, the quarterback kind of went off on his own a little bit. And that was just because John Elway had been in there for forever, and he had like business partners and everything like that. And so, and he was really, really good to me when I came into town. So, I will never be able to thank him enough. But, he was kind of on a different path. But I thought Dave Craig was the best leader because he, like you got, hey, let's get a group of guys, go out and have a beer, talk a little bit about the game, whatever. And it would be defensive backs, receivers, quarterbacks, offensive linemen. I mean, the entire team. And so that's the kind of leader I'm looking for, that kind of leadership that I'm looking for from Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Well, Seahawks minicamp has wrapped up. They're off now until training camp begins on July 23rd. But a lot of things that we took away over these past 2 days, we will break that down. Coming up next, it's Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman here with you on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I don't even know. They would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. We had Andy Ryder. He's the mayor of Lacey, and he's also a Swedish Cyberknife patient. We had him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife in our studio a few weeks ago, and a couple things that stood out about Swedish Cyberknife treatment. Number one, it only takes 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full time, and each treatment session lasts less than an hour. So he was able to remain comfortable during treatment. You can wear your street clothes, didn't experience any side effects other than mentioning he was a little bit tired, but you compare that with other treatment methods for prostate cancer where you have to have surgery or a catheter. I mean, it's night and day with Swedish Cyberknife. Also, it was just really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy held him in such high regard, and rightfully so. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. And hey, around here we talk about building a sports team and trying to find stars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field, just like Dr. Landis. Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state, and you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife-prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 62225. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle home prices, well, they just keep going up, and you might be ready to take advantage. If you're getting ready to sell or just moved into a new home, now is the time to get a thorough inspection of your crawl space and attic. And don't do it yourself. You don't want to be crawling around in there. You probably don't even really know what to look for. It's Mike Salk here, and Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to, so you can know if there's anything going on in your crawl space or attic without having to crawl into and evaluate those spaces on your own. A free inspection will let you know if your home is energy efficient and if the air you're breathing is clean and safe. Plus, there are some really great utility rebates available right now to help you with the cost of the new insulation if it's needed. How nice would it be to get someone else to cover that cost? Had them out to my house, and it was a great idea. Did that free corner-to-corner inspection, found some issues, they took the pictures, showed them to me, and then solved the problem. No issues since. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine, and you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Seahawks minicamp is in the books. A 2-day affair, Dave. They got everything done. They canceled tomorrow's final day of minicamp, so the offseason kind of begins for the players. They get a little break. This is the only really break they get. You know, you have little chunks here or there, but always in the facility working out. You have OTAs popping up, and now everyone's off until July 23rd, and then it's back, and the season begins. But we
That's
saw
a long
them out
ways
there.
off.
It is. It's what, a nice 6 weeks?
Yeah.
It'll
But
get here sooner than you think.
It
as you
always just
say.
seems like, you know, every year when it comes around, it's like, oh, I'm not ready for the season to start because you just launch into this whole thing. But that's a long time, and that I think that's a time when you worry. You worry about guys that, you know, what they do and, you know, just make sure you don't do anything crazy. And there's always that window before camp starts. I remember there was a long streak of every year there was something there. A guy got in a car accident or somebody got arrested. Or remember one time there was the poker thing in somebody's backyard. It was during the pandemic. And somebody pulled a gun or something. And then there was bribery going on. I mean, so yeah, you worry about those times. Hopefully, and this is why we say, oh, he's a great guy, because you don't want to lose a player because of that. There's plenty of ways to lose players. Just, you know, not to, you know, screwing around, getting thrown in jail, getting injured, things like that.
Are you worried about Dicko flush with cash now? Highest paid punter in the NFL?
Yeah, maybe he's going to all of a sudden become a big gambler or something. Maybe he's going to Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you missed
I
that
think he
news, yeah.
pretty much hit the jackpot.
Yeah. Michael Dixon, affectionately known as Dicko, is the highest paid punter in the NFL. So
You just like
yeah,
saying
let's just
his
keep
name.
saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it. That's a good call.
It's his name. It's his nickname. It's not me. I'm not the one who said that. So
Yeah, we're just quoting Mike McDonald, but Let's go ahead and wear it out.
Excited to get Michael done. Great job by the guys in the front office. Dicko is he's the premier punter in the league. Front office. Dicko is he's the premier punter in the league.
Mike McDonald seems like such a cool dude, and I'm so bummed that this is what he's done to the show. The effect of him just saying this one thing has derailed an entire day of programming for you two.
Yeah. That's who we are. We're very mature adults,
Yeah,
as we've
we
talked
are.
about before.
No, we're not men.
We're not men.
grown-ups. The cool thing about, you were talking about, they shut it down early. They had 2 good practices. They're going on some kind of a team dinner thing tonight, where the whole team, I don't know if they're going to, really where they should go is just upstairs and at the VMAC. It's some of the best food I've ever had.
I got chicken tenders up there. That's all Sam Darnold needs.
Yeah, he eats like a kid, but they've had, but they do that kind of stuff. They did it in Tennessee last year when I was there. I was looking out the window and I was doing our show, and maybe I brought it up, but there was like 3-4 busloads of guys they went out to some kind of a place where they had like barbecue and stuff. So there's lots of that sort of team bonding type of thing, and it was interesting. Just watching sort of the culture out there, because there is some trash talking, definitely, but it doesn't go too far. Yeah, there was the one practice where Mike had to, and I think it was last week, he had to call everybody together and say, hey, guys, we got to protect each other, and let's not. They didn't have any injuries or anything like that, so that worked. That worked really well. But, I think it's they're in a good spot based on having a whole new offense and a second year with this defense. I saw a couple of things out there today that I think is interesting. Number one, it looks like if Oluwatimi doesn't get the job at center, he may not make the team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be versatile. At least that's what I think. But you've got to be versatile on this offensive line. And Jalen Sundell, he's not in that same category because he can play guard. And actually, Sundell, I think, has played tackle. But, yeah, I think Olu, I'm pretty sure, has only played center.
Well, that's really interesting, especially on the heels of what Mike McDonald said yesterday. Maybe this gives it some more context. So he mentioned that Christian Haynes was getting some snaps at center yesterday.
Well, I think it goes to the interior part of our line. We're mixing and matching right now. It's a lot of great competition, and Christian's shown the ability to snap, so we've given him some opportunities to do so.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing now, and it conflicts with what we always hear from Big Ray, and I tend to agree with Ray on this, that you want a guy who's a PhD. But first you got to win a spot, right? And then you can be a PhD there. But I don't know. I just think they're asking almost every offensive lineman to do pretty much the same thing. It's going to have to go. You're going to have speed. You're going to have to try to block a guy who is like in a gap, maybe 2 feet away from you. That's play side. You're going to have to get in a position to hook him, even though you're at a disadvantage as far as your positioning. And so I saw them doing that. And I don't know what the range is like, okay, if he's right in the gap, you could probably get to him and block him back inside, because it's a difficult block. But I'm like, I don't know how far it is. If he's like, his helmet's on the shoulder of the offensive guard, are you supposed to be able to reach him, get a reach block there? I don't know that part yet, but they're asking those guys to do that kind of thing. So, but yeah, from what I understand, that's kind of one of the interesting things, and I don't know that for sure, but it just seems like that because of the versatility of almost everyone, and it kind of brought to mind that, yeah, that's right, Olu's I don't think has played other places, certainly not at tackle. So pressure on him. I really like that Jalen Sundell kid. But again, the offensive line, I thought it was fascinating watching the things that they were working on and how they want to run the ball. And then just watching it as a defender going, man, that's going to be really difficult to defend if they are able to pull that off. So, but they're not going to figure out anything until pads go on. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I like that Mike thinks that way. I think Pete was always so positive that sometimes he would say things that he didn't really believe, and I think Pete might have been one of the coaches that I heard say, hey, you don't have to have a good run game to run play action pass. Like, totally disagree. You've got to sell the run. You got to buy in, and then the play action pass is a surprise. So, and I think that, again, Pete was just so positive about everything. And if his run game wasn't working, it'd be, that's all right. We're still going to get it done. And I appreciate that about him. But I just personally disagree with that because I think, as a linebacker, I mean, you got to sell the run. You got to sell it. And it's like Abe Lucas told us, or the clip we heard anyway, is that it's non-negotiable. We have to run the ball. So that part of it will be really interesting to see once they get pads on. But I think everything went well enough that they took a day off, right, and decided to end camp early. And so, yeah, everybody's going to head out, get their last vacation in, whatever, stay in great shape. And then, we'll see them back in, what is it, July 23rd.
It'll be here before you know it, Dave. It seems like a long time now, but it'll get there, and we'll be like, wait. Football season. We're in the later part of July.
Yeah.
So it'll be here before you know it. That is also, I think, the first open practice or one of the first few open training camp practices. I know the full schedule has come out. So Seahawks.com has the full when practices are open for fans if you want to go check that out. So, yeah, no real football news happening until July whenever it starts to get back. But a lot of Mariners stuff to talk about because they were just swept by the Diamondbacks, and now it is gut check time for this team heading into a series against the Guardians on Friday. We'll break down what could change and what has to change before Friday's opener. Right after this, it's Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know. They would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
It's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. And when you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. And this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning. It's much better than our traditional vinyl window. And these windows last up to 60 years. And they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They also come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty. And that means not only are you covered for glass breakage or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale value and the value of your home. So it's very affordable with zero options like zero payments and zero interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. So think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY, or you can just go to harleyexteriors.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on CAT compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacey Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at WOISeattle.org. That's WOISeattle.org.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Brandy Cruz. Hey, Brandy, why? Why First Mark Insurance?
Service. I wondered for a second whether I was getting the VIP treatment, and I kind of asked, hey, is this what you do for everyone? And they're like, of course. The whole First Mark Challenge is meant to be personal, right? So it really is tailored and meant to be a personal experience for every single person. I will say I've just done whatever is the quickest and cheapest type of insurance, and I realized while I was doing it, wow, this is what it feels like to get insurance as a real adult. We had a million questions, and they walked us through every step of the process, and then they're working for you. So they're not working for insurance companies, they're working for you. To experience that level of service really shows you what the difference is with First Mark.
Brandy did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, a really tough road trip came to an end for the Mariners today in Arizona. Tough stretch dating back to the series against the Orioles as well. So that final series against the Orioles and then this 6-game road trip, they've lost 8 of 9. They were swept twice. They had to rally to beat the Angels. The offense has just kind of disappeared in this series. we talked about it when we came on after the loss and after the post-game coverage. 5 for 41 with runners in scoring position. So for an offense that's struggling to score, they put up 2 runs today, 3 in the game yesterday, and then 4 in the extra inning loss, but they were being shut out until the 9th inning. So outside of that one big inning, this could be even worse if possible. And for an offense that was decent to good during April and then a little bit into May, it has just completely fallen off the cliff. And I feel like a broken record because I remember we were sitting here on Friday before the series began in Anaheim, and we were saying, look, there have been 2 extremes. How do they find some kind of middle ground? But that hasn't happened. Instead, it feels like they're just still going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I mean, they won 9 series in a row.
It's wild to think about that.
Yeah, and so and now we're just going the other way. And I think somebody said the one thing that the Mariners haven't experienced was a sustained losing streak, or not streak necessarily, but just, where you're dropping 3 of 4. And now that's kind of what we got. So, yeah, it's just very discouraging. Started with the Astros.
Yeah.
That series, and, really, I think people were pissed when they lost to the Chicago White Sox, which is ridiculous because they took the series, but, they swept San Diego. They take 2 or 3 from the White Sox, and then they go in and lose that one to Houston. I mean, they're a good team, man. I mean, I can't say that when Bob's here, but, they're just stacked year after year. So, I mean, you can kind of understand that one, but you come back and you beat Washington. I mentioned this earlier. You beat them 9-1. And you're thinking, okay, now we're back on track again. We've won the 9 series in a row. We're going to get back on that hunt again. And, you lose 2 to Washington. They did end up, beating Minnesota. They won the series, but I mean, it was like 5-4 in 11 innings. And then the other win was 2-1. So all of a sudden the offensive output just went away. So yeah, what have they scored? They scored 9 runs in this series with Arizona, and I think they scored like 13 against the Angels. So it's just been a real offensive, it's sputtering.
Yeah, since that Houston series you mentioned, that started the losing stretch. So after the 9 straight series wins, they've lost 5 of their last 6 series.
Mm-hmm.
And the one series win was the one you mentioned, the Twins. And that one's strange because it almost didn't feel like a series win because they blew the Friday game. They gave up a 3-run lead in the 9th. They did scrape out a win in 11, and that was that great feel-good moment. It was Cole Young's debut, and he helped drive in the game-winning run because he had that ground ball, and then the slide home to beat out the run. Masterboni slid in to win it. But then the next day, again, they had a lead. They gave it up in the 9th, found a way to win. So, okay, everything all right for now, but it's exacerbated with the Orioles. Some timely home runs by Baltimore, I guess untimely from the Mariners' perspective. Kind of followed up in this series against the Diamondbacks where, the corner spots were really glaring because of what Suarez and what Naylor did. Josh Naylor in Game 1 hits the walk-off grand slam. Gino Suarez today hits that kind of back-breaking grand slam that opened it up after the Mariners had a 2-0 lead. So you're counting on your pitching staff to have to be perfect because the offense is just not contributing with sustained attacks, sustained big crooked number innings. You haven't seen a stretch where you really get to a starter. It felt like those 4 runs in the first inning against Jack Kahanowitz last Saturday was going to be, all right, knock the start out early. That's what's kind of concerning to see as well, is that the Mariners were so good at driving up pitch counts, and they would knock starters out early, and they'd force teams to get to their bullpen. Now, look at Merrill Kelly. He just kind of mowed them down in that opener against the Diamondbacks a couple of nights ago, and you have guys going deeper into outings against this Mariners lineup. So they're not just struggling to hit with runners in scoring position. They're also struggling to work good at bats, something that we really saw towards the start of the year.
Well, and the thing you brought up at the beginning of the show is what you just mentioned, the power that the Diamondbacks have at the corners in infield. And, yeah, that came back to sting you
a
little
did.
bit. Eugenio, I miss Eugenio, man. Yeah, his arm He has an amazing arm. And did you see the moment where he made a play and, whipped the ball over there, and then Perry Hill was kind of like smiling at him? Yeah, I mean, that was kind of cool. Kind of a cool moment. But, yeah, I mean, that kind of made it hurt a little bit more, because of what they have and we don't. So, yeah, it's a tough time right now. Like I said at the beginning of the show, listening to Dan, that's got to be the hardest job in the world. Dan Wilson trying to explain, what we got to get back on track. I mean, what do you say after that? I mean, we're just not hitting. And then, we've had really good pitchers. I thought with Kirby, and that's why I was so excited with that win where he got the 14 strikeouts. I'm like, okay, I really think this is going to put him back on track.
I thought it would be the thing that got it going.
Pitching wise, and just wasn't.
And rightfully so. I mean, you do get excited because Kirby had that great start, and this was the spark. Okay, they lost the series against the Angels, but they have this. Certainly, they'll build on that, and they didn't. And you can go all the way back to the Blue Jays series where they got swept coming off a road trip. It's like, okay, swept at home against the Blue Jays. Well, now what's going to turn around? And they made up for that and kind of found their footing again for a little bit after that because, after the Blue Jays, you struggled against the Yankees, but then you had the Padres, and that Padres sweep kind of made everything feel right again. But now there are just no signs of it getting better. And we say that now, and things could always change, but at least to this point, with this lineup, it is, a struggle. It's not a lineup with a lot of everyday guys. So we'll see what they do. There are no easy answers. There are no immediate short-term fixes. They have a couple of days to figure it out. They're off tomorrow, and then you don't play until 7:10 on Friday against the Guardians. So we will see. Plenty of time to talk about it, but up next, we're going to turn you over to Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Pacers and Thunder joined in progress right here on Seattle Sports.
Brock and Salk.
Coach McDonald, is there anything that could happen other than an injury between now and the beginning of the season that would lead to a different quarterback?
No, this is a crazy question. This is not going to Sam's our starting quarterback. I think it's funny that the media is out there for the first day and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are. And it's like, we don't even put on pads yet. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy question.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
New Harley-Davidson street glides under $265 a month at Jet City Harley. Try it out for under $265 a month on a new street glide at Jet City Harley-Davidson.
Payments based on street glide model and base color with 30% down, 96-month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include freight, setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price Match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
For SGA, and that's his first bucket of game number 3.
SGA realizes he misses a couple. What's the response? Get to the rim or get to the free throw line?
27-22 Thunder by 5, 2:15 to go, opening quarter. Halliburton being pushed all the way to half court, gets a screen from Turner, feeds Turner the roller, one dribble, high off the glass, missed it in traffic, rebounded by Dort. Crowd wanted a foul call, none given. Caruso on the other end finds Wiggins on the left wing. Aaron's going to put it on the deck, gets to the free throw line, now pushing Halliburton, tried to get under, knocked away by Halliburton, a steal. Separated the ball from Wiggins, and here comes Indiana the other way. To Toppin on the left, back to Halliburton, out on the Pacer logo. Against Caruso, drives, bounce pass, Nembhard has it, double covered. He'll pass to the wing to Toppin. Toppin now to Halliburton, drives from the left. On top, Obi for 3, off the rim, no good. Rebounded by OKC. 90 seconds to go first quarter. 27-22 Thunder. SGA drives, gets deep, goes to the left hand and scores on the lay-in.
Back to back, right to the rim for the MVP.
7-point lead on the other end. A foul as Nembhard was driving deep, and you'll hear a little Bronx cheer here in Indianapolis. They feel they finally get a foul call against the Thunder, and that'll go against Wiggins, his first. And with free throws coming, we're going to pause 10 seconds for station ID. This is the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
First free throw good. Indiana within 6, PJ.
Well, the reason the crowd reacted, that's only the second foul called on the OKC Thunder, but it is the first one in the last 2 minutes, so both teams now will be in the bonus. Any more fouls?
And that Nembhard free throw was the first free throw of game 3 for Indiana. 1:19 to go in the first. Second one, no good, and Holmgren chases down the rebound. 29-23 Thunder. 1:15 to go first quarter. Cason Wallace back in the game, gives it to Hartenstein between the rings. Dribble handoff to SGA. At the top, defended by Ben Shepherd. He'll take him off the bounce. Stop. Now tries to get by him at the free throw line, and a foul is called against Shepherd, reaching in across the chest on the MVP.
Yeah, I think it was a good call. Shea tried to get by him. There was a little bit of contact. Shea, as he does, backed up a half a step, then tried to get by him again. And Tyler Ford made the second call. Officials talking to Nembhard and SGA. I have no idea why, Kesty, but this seems like there's a little something to this between Andrew Nembhard and his Canadian Olympic teammate, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, we saw back in game one, late in the game, when Nembhard, as SGA was going to shoot a free throw, kind of pushed him out of the way, and then Nembhard got real close, saying something to him on the way back, and Andrew's trying to get in his head, but SGA hits the first of two.
Well, he might get in his head, but the one place you don't want him to get is the free throw line. He's 18 for 20, 10 free throws attempted, average the first two games, made 18 of them. He's one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA. He's over 90% so far in the finals.
Makes both free throws. He's got the last 6 for OKC. They've taken an 8-point lead. 31-23, final minute, opening quarter. Pass to the corner. TJ McConnell in the ball game for the first time, dribbles behind a Siakam screen, now drives baseline, sends it out to Pascal, between the legs dribble against Hartenstein, crosses right, lost his balance, but a whistle and a foul called on Hartenstein. That'll put Pascal Siakam at the line. Late in the shot clock, the foul called.
Yeah, that was a big play, because I was about to say OKC's done a better job than Indiana finishing quarters, and they were about, had they gotten a stop here, they could wind it down. They're about to put a pretty good spread between these two teams, but Pascal's 2 free throws are big. He struggled in game 1, shot it very well from the free throw line in game 2.
Pascal Siakam had the first 3 field goals for Indiana tonight, so the first 6 points of the game, hasn't scored since until right now as he gets the first of 2. Indiana's led by, or rather Oklahoma City's led by as many as 9 points. Right now the lead is 7 with 44 ticks on the clock, and Hartenstein will exit the Oklahoma City lineup.
OKC with the 2-for-1 opportunity, 44 seconds on the game clock, and both teams in the bonus.
Isaiah Joe replaces him. OKC going a little small. Missed the second free throw. Offensive rebound. Thomas Bryant had the ball knocked out of his hands. They'll say it was last off Bryant and out of bounds across the baseline. You cannot take you can't turn your back on these defenders.
No, they're gonna try and strip you, but I'm more concerned. Pascal Siakam has got to make his free throws.
Chet Holmgren with it. Oklahoma City leading by 7. 31-24, half a minute to go. First quarter, the pass to Chet, and he's grabbed by Bryant, who commits the foul. We got a little free throw contest here in the final minutes of this first quarter.
Well, it was a dribble handoff, and both defenders, Holmgren's and SGA's, doubled up on SGA, and when Chet tried to break away from the 4 players there to get to the rim, he was grabbed by the defender. It's a costly foul, Kesty. 30 seconds to go. That's created a 2-for-1 opportunity for the Thunder.
And on top of it, a real good free throw shooter in Chet Holmgren, who hits the first. He's 5 for 5 at the free throw line. He's 9 for 9 free throw line so far in the NBA Finals.
Had himself a pretty good night so far. 4 for 5 from the field, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. The only shot he missed was a 3. He's also got 4 rebounds.
Second free throw on its way. Holmgren has it pop out, and no good. Lead is at 8 for OKC. Pacers bring it up left to right. 24 seconds to go in the quarter. About 6 seconds difference on the shot clock.
I'm calling this an important possession for Indiana.
McConnell's going to drive against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Got deep, lost the ball. Holmgren picks it up on the baseline. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Shot clock off. Holmgren being chased by McConnell. Tips it out of his hands, but across the baseline. OKC ball with 6.3.
Both coaches making a lot of subs here for these last situations. Jalen Williams, big Jalen Williams in now, and Alex Caruso in. We got a 6.3 second possession underneath out of bounds with no foul to give for the Indiana Pacers.
Mark Daigneault's gone 11 deep in this first quarter. Alex Caruso, baseline left trigger, 6.3 to go in the quarter. Into SGA. Against Shepard. Backs him down, turns, fades, shoots, missed, tapped out by McConnell at the buzzer. And it'll be an 8-point lead for Oklahoma City here through 12 minutes.
Well, considering the start, Kesty, Indiana did a decent job getting back in it. But again, the point we talked about before the opening tip, they trailed game 1 by 9 points in the first quarter. They trailed game 2 by 6 points after the first quarter, and now they're down 8 again. You cannot do this against a team as good as OKC.
After one in game 3, Thunder 32, the Pacers 24. This is the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indy.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads, race car bobbleheads, little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. purplewave.com.
All power, zero compromise. Ego cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Jim Basketball in our Granger studio. The MVP of the league, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, averaging 36 a game thus far through the first two. This Rick Carlisle on making it tougher on him.
Shai, you can mark down 34 points before they even get on the plane tomorrow, for the next game. I mean, the guy's going to score. We got to find ways to make it as tough as possible on him. Williams played really well tonight. All their guys played well. And so, we're going to have to do a lot of things better.
So SGA, 6 late points, 2 of 6 from the floor. They've done a decent job on him, but Chet Holmgren 13, Lou Dort 9, and OKC's up 32-24 start of the second quarter. Back to Indianapolis with Vanessa, PJ, and Kesty.
All right, thanks, Jim. 13 for Holmgren, and let's check in with Vanessa.
Yeah, I talked to SGA about the impact of the bench, and he said our bench is what takes us to another level. It allows no drop-off when the starters come off the court. Every good team has a prolific bench. He said to sustain a level of play is the name of the game in the NBA. Obviously, Mark Daigneault going 11 deep speaks a lot to that bench.
Appreciate that, Vanessa. And deeper on the bench for Indiana, Benedict Mathurin is here to start this second quarter.
Indiana's 8-0 in bench points.
Mathurin with it, out on top, looking for Siakam. Well defended in the middle, goes to McConnell, drives down, turning pass for Siakam. Somehow came up with it, beating Cason Wallace at the bucket for the score. And an inbound turnover. Siakam has it. He'll shoot a 3 from the top, way off target. Offensive rebound, McConnell, and in one pass, sent it to Mathurin, who puts it in.
2 assists, an offensive rebound, and a steal for T.J. McConnell.
Just like that, the bench of Indiana helping surge the Pacers back. They're down 4. Opening minute, second quarter. Holmgren, 13 in the first, at the top, puts it on the deck against Siakam, gets some daylight. A very flat shot, miss, popped out, rebound Indiana. Coming the other way, Aaron Nesmith dribbles up to the three-point line, gives it to McConnell, drifting to his right. Now behind a screen, gets underneath. Wallace defending, falling down, jumper missed, and Cason Wallace has the rebound. Up ahead to a running Holmgren, going for the dunk. He got fouled. He left maybe a foot too soon. Didn't have enough lift to get there, but got fouled anyway by Nesmith.
Yeah, I think if Nesmith didn't get him, he might have been able to finish, but Chet Holmgren, aggressive and really effective early. T.J. McConnell has really made his presence felt in a very short time for Rick Carlisle.
Second foul on Nesmith, and Holmgren took a little while to get going, PJ. Only had 6 points in game 1. He delivered 15 in game 2, and as he hits his first free throw, he's got 14, and we're in the second minute of the second quarter.
I'll tell you, some guys, Ben Shepherd did it for Rick Carlisle in the first quarter. T.J. McConnell here in the second. Unbelievable. 1 for 1 from the field. He's already got an offensive rebound. He's got a steal, and he's got 2 assists.
Holmgren hits the second free throw as well. He's got 15 of Oklahoma City's 34. 34-28 lead. 10:40 to go first half. And now a whistle as Siakam was working up high in a foul against Oklahoma City. Crowd will be happy with that. The Thunder only got hit for a handful, I think 4 fouls in that first quarter. That's going to be on Hartenstein, his second.
Kessie, looking at turnovers, both teams, coaches not happy. OKC 5 turnovers in the first quarter, 7 Indiana points off those turnovers. Meantime, Indiana's turned it over 7 times. Fortunately, only 3 points off those turnovers for the Thunder.
We've been saying that quite a bit in this series.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City hasn't taken full advantage of Indiana turnovers. A little chess match here as Wiggins comes back onto the floor for OKC. Hartenstein went out. Now Obi Toppin comes in for Turner to defend Chet Holmgren. Indiana inbounds to T.J. McConnell up near half court. Left side Nesmith. Now to Matherin, who has it on the arc with a right-hand dribble and 7 to shoot. To the top, screen by Toppin. He's free, right of the circle, drills the jumper.
Tough shot over Chet Holmgren.
They've been waiting for Benedict Matherin to get going in these finals. Indiana's down 4. Jalen Williams back on the floor, hits Holmgren on the short roll to Caruso. Blocked by Siakam. Loose ball, though, tapped last by Nesmith out of bounds. So they get the block, but they don't have the basketball.
Well, I'm telling you what, both Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, excellent high-low passes from Mark Daigneault.
Baseline inbound, OKC 12 to shoot. Caruso looking, still looking. Tried to find Williams underneath, but it went off the foot of Siakam, kicked out. That'll reset the shot clock.
And take it from an underneath out of bounds to a side out of bounds off the violation.
10-12 on the clock. Second quarter, Thunder 34, Indiana 30. Pacers had a 9-point lead early. Now Tyler Ford is saying this will be a baseline.
Back to the original spot, yep.
First finals game, and Tyler Ford right in the middle of it. Off the inbound from the baseline, Aaron Wiggins has it. Up top, Jalen Williams. J-Dub puts it on the deck against Matherin. Now lifts from 15 off target. Siakam, weak side rebound.
I like Pascal Siakam's energy tonight, Kest.
Down 4, Matherin with it. Runs into J-Dub, lost it momentarily. Dribbling on the arc, left side McConnell. Further left to Toppin. Now finds McConnell on the drive under the basket. Great cut to Matherin, who lays it in. And a near steal, in fact, knocked out of bounds on the far side. Indiana ball, they're down 2. 34-32, Oklahoma City, 9:42 to go. Oklahoma City has led from the start. That was T.J. McConnell who got his hand on that inbound ball.
He has really been active since he's been in.
Correct myself, it was Aaron Nesmith on the last basket to draw them to within 2. 9:42 to go here in the second. Inbound right underneath Matherin, went up. A lot of contact, no whistle. Shot no good. Holmgren has it. At half court they go to Wiggins. Down low, Wallace puts it up and in. Cason Wallace scoring.
OKC doing a good job running the floor.
36-32, Oklahoma City. Again, McConnell drives out to Matherin. He buries a 3 from the right. 36-35, Ben Matherin getting the Pacers within 1, and Oklahoma City calling for time.
Rick Carlisle's bench has been enormous, Kesty. I'm trying to add it up quick. How about 15-0 bench points for Rick Carlisle's group? T.J. McConnell and Ben Matherin setting the tone.
Ben Matherin, all 7 of his points coming in this second quarter. Got a 1-point game with 9:19 to go first half. Thunder 36, Pacers 35. And you're listening to the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Seattle Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage-as-a-service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/purestorage.
Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely, and you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Show your hands as he makes that first free throw. James Johnson was also talking to Matherin about the art of pump faking. As we've said before, he's a veteran. He might not always be playing, but he leads, guys.
Appreciate it, Vanessa. As The game is tied at 36 and a chance for Indiana's first lead of Game 3. Jalen Williams heads to the bench. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander replaces him.
Rick Carlisle talked to us about defensively showing your hands, but keep them off the free throw line.
McConnell's second is good as well, and there's the lead. 37-36, Indiana. They trailed by as many as 9. 8:50 left in the first half. Caruso goes to Hartenstein. He's trying to find SGA. It's a dribble handoff coming around to the right. Toppin covering. Fired pass lane. Stolen by McConnell. Another steal is third. McConnell to Siakam in the lane. Puts it up. No good in traffic. Caruso the rebound. SGA brings it down the middle of the floor. Tried to Euro into Nimhard. Contact. No call. Shot up. Missed. Rebound Toppin.
Officials letting him play this quarter, Kesty.
8:20 to go here in the half. They loop the pass down low to Siakam against Caruso. Hits Matherin in the lane. Gets rid of SGA and leans it in. 39-36 Pacers.
Nice dump off by Pascal Siakam. Second good move cutting to the basket by Matherin.
It's an 11-2 run for Indiana over the last 3 minutes. They lead by 3. Aaron Wiggins curling to the middle of the lane. Shot blocked by Matherin. Loose ball tip. OKC keeps. Caruso with 7 to shoot. Sees the clock. He's beyond the arc with 5. Now attacks Siakam in the lane. Got it up with the right hand. No good. Ends up in the hands of Wiggins, who couldn't get a shot off. It's a violation. Shot clock violation, and Indiana's defense has turned up the screw.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Pascal didn't get a hand on it. I don't know whether they're going to credit him with a block or not, but he altered the first shot for sure.
7:43 to go, first half. Indiana with a 39-36 lead. McConnell getting right into the teeth of the defense. He's stopped by Wallace, or Wiggins rather, and sends it out with 7 to shoot. Benedict Matherin puts it on the deck, drives beyond the basket smartly. Oh, I thought he put it off of Hartenstein out of bounds, but it's going to go to Oklahoma City. Matherin got too deep on that baseline and turned it over.
Another turnover. Both teams turning it over a little more than their coaches would like. But again, both of these teams are so aggressive defensively, Kesty. A turnover is going to be a big factor in this game.
Bench points right now, Indiana 19, Oklahoma City nothing. Fueling this comeback. Pacers 39, Thunder 36, 7:27 to go. First half, game 3. This is the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're everyday people doing good in our community. Our kindness runs deep, just like our blood. The same blood we donate to help treat sickle cell disease, which hits Black people the hardest. Good news is, 1 in 3 Black blood donors is a match for someone struggling with sickle cell disease. Stand tall in the eyes of your community. Donate today because our blood saves lives. Visit redcrossblood.org/ourblood to make your donation.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan, we are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Jim Basco in our Granger studio. Game 2 Oklahoma City win was fueled by their bench. Got 48 bench points. Alex Caruso 20. Aaron Wiggins 18 points. This is their coach, Mark Daigneault.
Yeah, those guys were huge. Indiana's guys were huge in game 1. I think they were like 8 for 12, from 3. And that was a huge swing factor in that game. And then, obviously Wiggins, Caruso every night. But Cambridge Williams gave us great minutes the other night as well. They really stepped up and gave us huge minutes.
I bring that up because the bench advantage thus far is 19-0 for Indiana, thus a 39-36 lead. We go back to Indianapolis with Vanessa, PJ, and Kesty.
All right, Jim and PJ, OKC is ice cold here in the second.
They missed their last shot. If you remember, Shea had the last shot of the first quarter. They've started this quarter 1 for 8, so 1 for their last 9. And at the same time, Indiana, led by their bench, has heated up. What are they, 6 for 10, Kesty?
6
so
for 10.
far in the second.
15-4 to open the second quarter for Indiana. Oklahoma City also has turned it over 4 times in the second quarter. They have 9 turnovers so far here in game 3. But the bench has fueled it. First Ben Shepherd early off the bench. Benedict Mathurin is 4 for 5 off the bench, and T.J. McConnell with 3 steals and 4 assists. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander out of the timeout, brings it up floor to our left. Mathurin will defend on the perimeter. We've got a foul on the inside as Andrew Nimhard displaced. Lou Dort, who is trying to cut through the lane.
Pretty much letting them play. That's only 2 fouls for each team so far this quarter. But again, I keep repeating, Kesty, these are 2 very physical defensive teams.
Second foul on Nimhard. Dort will inbound right in front of us. Baseline left, looking for Shea. He's got him. Going to back down Nimhard, who's got 2 fouls. Pass the other side, got tipped, but ends up in the hands of Isaiah Joe. His 3-pointer right through the net. And we're tied at 39.
Isaiah Joe came in shooting over 38% in the playoffs, but not as well in this series.
Tyrese Halliburton is back in. He'll launch a 3. He'll miss it, but it's a long rebound. Indiana has it. Toppin drives from the left. Underneath passes to Halliburton. Quickly to Nimhard. Topside 3's good. And the Pacers reclaim the lead. 42-39 Indiana. 6:40 left in the half. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander busts into the front court. Now stops against Nimhard. Left-hand dribble down to the right hand. Runs him through a screen. Finds Joe, who's free for 3 on the left. And he's 2 for 2 from deep. Isaiah Joe has tied it again.
Beautiful stroke, Isaiah Joe. The difference so far tonight, Indiana's getting more stops. They're also creating turnovers, so they're playing more in the open court.
6:15 and counting to go in the half. Halliburton, cross-court pass to Mathurin, left corner drive into the lane, and before the shot, it's going to be a foul against Oklahoma City at 6:09 to go here in this second quarter.
He got Isaiah Joe before he even got to the next defender.
First on Joe, who on the other side, Isaiah Joe offensively only had 2 points in game 2 in 6 minutes. You never know who can get hot off that OKC bench.
There's a whole bunch of players who, A, play good defense, and B, can make threes.
Mathurin got fouled off the inbound in the lane. Shot no good. Isaiah Joe got a little too close that time, and Joe picks up his second.
Back-to-back plays. Ben Mathurin went right at Isaiah Joe.
6:05 on the clock. Benedict Mathurin will head to the free throw line. He's the #1 scorer off the bench this postseason in the NBA. 175 points coming into the game. He's got 9 tonight. And his first free throw gives him 10 and has given the Pacers the lead back 43-42.
Isaiah Joe, meantime, has all 6 of the OKC bench points.
All 10 of Mathurin's points have come here in this second quarter. Did not play in the first frame. Mathurin, third-year swingman out of Arizona by way of Montreal. Hits both free throws. 44-42 Pacers.
And NBA Academy in Mexico, and a 90% free throw shooter.
6 minutes to go in the half. 2-point lead. Kenrich Williams in. Thought about a 3. Now takes it long. Halliburton has the rebound 17 feet away from the hoop. Feeds the cutting Toppin, going strong. Pass behind him and a whistle. And one. Mathurin on the cut from Toppin, and a chance at a 3-point play.
The third time tonight, Kesty, we've talked about how well Ben Mathurin is moving without the ball. There's an art to his cutting.
And that's what we didn't see in Oklahoma City, largely for Indiana. Not a lot of space to move in the first two games.
Well, again, we're talking open floor. When you get some stops, when you get turnovers, when you don't give up offensive rebounds, things open up on the other end of the floor.
Indiana trailed by 8 at the end of the first quarter. Ben Matherin's free throw is good. Matherin has 14 second quarter points, and the Pacers lead it by 5. Oklahoma City only has 10 in the quarter, so Matherin outdueling them by himself. And now Nembhard's going to pick up his third foul 35 feet away as he fouled Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm going to say this. Andrew Nembhard is playing very hard, but if it's possible to be over-amped up, he's over-amped up. He's been involved in a lot of dust-ups. It's amazing he got this long without getting 3 fouls.
Heads to the bench, 5.5 to go in the half. Ben Shepherd replaces him. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has it. They work it around the horn. Lou Dort nearly lost it. Tips it in the corner to Holmgren. Dort gets it back. 4 to shoot. Step shot blocked by Toppin, out of bounds with 1 on the shot clock. Oklahoma City to inbound.
Obi Toppin with a smart play. He could have saved the ball, but he couldn't see who was behind him, so he let it go out of bounds. Smart play, 1 second on the shot clock.
It'll be a baseline trigger, but first Mark Daigneault wants to get Alex Caruso into the game. So Caruso walks to the scorer's table, and looks like Isaiah Joe is going to head to the Thunder bench. It'll be Jalen Williams, baseline left. The other 4 Thunder, 1 in the high post and 3 around the perimeter. J-Dub, count is on. Gets it into Holmgren. Gets off a 3, partially blocked by Turner. And it's a shot clock violation. That's the second that they forced against OKC this quarter.
That's the 10th turnover for OKC, Kesty.
Well, they only have 10 points in the quarter. 23-10 Indiana in this second quarter. 47-42 lead. Halliburton with 5:15. A floater from the free throw line goes down, and Indiana has a 7-point advantage.
Beautiful crossover on top, and then the little floater once he crossed the free throw line.
49-42 Pacers. Holmgren drives, kicks to Caruso. Left corner 3. It's good. Alex Caruso ending the Indiana momentum for now.
Really good pass by the high roll man. Chet Holmgren rolled to the basket, brought the defense together, and found Caruso.
4:45 to go in the half. Halliburton finds a spot. Tolles missed from 15. All Thunder under the basket. J-Dub the rebound. Brings it up 1-on-3. Had it poked away. Got it back. Stops the dribble. Now jump pass tipped by Halliburton. Gives a new dribble to J-Dub. 12 to shoot. Williams on the perimeter. Puts it on the deck. Shoves Halliburton. Gets into the lane. Halliburton climbs his back. Blocked the shot after that. It's a foul on Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese upset. He wants to talk to Tony Brothers, but he left his feet. That was the problem. And J-Dub, as soon as he saw Tyrese leave his feet, just kind of leaned in a little bit with his right shoulder, and Tyrese had to contact him.
Well, this is where Oklahoma City was able to get many points in that first quarter at the free throw line. They shot 7 of 8 in the first quarter. J-Dub missing on the first. They were 9 of 10 before that miss. Siakam's going to come back into the lineup for Indiana.
J-Dub, one of the top 35 free throwers in the playoffs. He's actually better than that, just under 80%. But we had some good free throwers missing free throws tonight.
Holmgren heads to the bench for OKC. Free throw good by J-Dub. 49-46. Thunder back within 3. 4:19 to go, second quarter. A second quarter dominated thus far by the Pacers. Pass into the front court to Miles Turner, back to Halliburton. Sends it on the wing. Halliburton's got it now in the right hash. Dribbling against Hartenstein. Takes 2 defenders. Finds Shepherd. 7 to shoot. Shepherd drives, puts it up and in. A circus shot from Shepherd over the 7-footer Hartenstein.
Yeah, it was well contested, but it was better offense.
Indiana leading by 5. 26 bench points. Here's the drive and 1 on a stuff by Jalen Williams. Hung in the air in traffic, able to put it down and get to the free throw line.
Yeah, I think Jalen Williams was a little upset. He struggled to get by his defenders, particularly when it was Tyrese Halliburton. That time, he got 1 step and said, I'm going all the way to the rim for the finish.
7 points for J-Dub. Knee bend, shot up good, 3-point play. Jalen Williams, and Oklahoma City's within 2. 51-49 Pacers, 3:45 left in the half. We're in game 3 of the NBA Finals on ESPN Radio. Here's the drive, Halliburton, pass to the wing. Shot up, Shepard missed from 3, rebounded by Shea.
Tyrese getting more penetration tonight. He's creating shots.
Driving deep, got it over the hands of Miles Turner for the bucket. And a timeout called by the Pacers as OKC has tied the game at 51.
All of a sudden, the 1-2 punch, Kesty said, we're going to go to the rim. 3 straight times it was Jalen Williams, J-Dub, or SGA attacking the basket.
That was a great replay on ABC as Shea Gilgeous-Alexander got through the initial defenders. His eyes got so wide looking at that rim, and then he saw Miles Turner coming and just had just enough lift on that basketball to put it in. So you're right, the 1-2 punch of Oklahoma City leading them back in. It was the bench who got Indiana going, so Rick Carlisle should be interesting to see what his closing halftime lineup is here with 3:26.
Yeah, and Indiana would do well. They've done such a really good job, not just getting back in it, but dominating the second quarter. They got to close this final 3:26 when we come out of this timeout.
Indiana trailed by as many as 9. They led this quarter by as many as 7, and now Oklahoma City has scored 9 of the last 11, so a 9-2 run to tie the game at 51 with 3:26 to go. First half, the series is even at a game apiece. You heard off the top of our show, the Game 3 winner in a 1-1 finals wins the championship 80% of the time. However, the last 8 times that's happened, it's only 4-4 on the Game 3 winner, and that includes the Dallas Mavericks, who were down to Miami in 2011, 2-1, and of course Rick Carlisle won his only NBA championship as a head coach that year for the Mavericks.
Yeah, my head hurts from all the stats that they throw at us. These 2 games, usually 2 days, usually in between the games.
We load up.
Boy, do we ever. Chet Holmgren, 15 points to lead OKC. Benedict Mathurin, 14 for the Pacers. They're the only 2 players in double figures.
Well, Rick Carlisle does bring T.J. McConnell back in, but he brings him in with Halliburton in the backcourt. McConnell at the point, bounce to Siakam, back to T.J. Jumper 15 is short and rebounded by Oklahoma City.
Tough shot by T.J. right there.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go in the half. Nice screen by Hartenstein and frees Gilgeous-Alexander. Spins down the lane, finger rolls it in, and the Thunder have taken the lead. Long pass down court. Siakam's got it off the window and in. That was one of the first times they've gone a deep pass that Oklahoma City was not able to get their hands on in the series.
More fast break points from both teams tonight.
Tied at 53, 2:40 left in the half. SGA at the top. Shepard staying with him.
Steps.
Passes to a cutting Hartenstein, who dunks it with 2 hands hard.
SGA got away with an extra step on that one.
55-53 Thunder. 2:28 to go here in the half. Siakam working behind the screen of Shepard. Now darts beyond the arc with Hartenstein defending. Now he makes a run at Isaiah. In the mid-post, hesitates. Pass out Shepard, 8 to shoot. Now it's Halliburton who puts it up and in. Halliburton scores. Tied at 55.
Well, Rick Carlisle said he was going to put Halliburton and Pascal Siakam in better positions. He evidently has.
9 points for Tyrese Halliburton to go with 7 assists in the first half. Tied at 55. SGA driving on Shepard. Pulls. 14-footer. No good on the fade. Rebound Halliburton. Still tied at 55. Tyrese at the top. Takes the 3. Makes the 3. Pacers lead by 3. 58-55 Indiana.
More open floor transition baskets from the Pacers.
That's a dozen for Halliburton. Here's the drive. J-Dub fouled. Shot off the glass. No good. 2 free throws coming for Jalen Williams with his Thunder down 3.
Jalen Williams missed some shots early. It looks like he just decided, I'm going to put the ball on the floor. I'm going to try and beat my defender off the dribble.
He beat Aaron Nesmith, who picks up his 3rd personal. So Nesmith and Nimhard each with 3 fouls here in the first half.
Both teams in the bonus. We said free throws were going to be important. They're becoming more important.
And Jalen Williams pumps in the first of 2. Chet Holmgren comes back in for Oklahoma City. Also, Aaron Nesmith with those 3 fouls will check out for Indiana as Ben Mathurin is back in for the Pacers. Free throw coming. J-Dub. No good. Short on the front rim. Holmgren trying to get it against Shepard. Out of bounds. They'll say Holmgren last to touch. I thought it was against Indiana right in front of us. And now Indiana trying to rush it in as Holmgren's twirling his fingers to say, let's review. But they do get it in.
Holmgren thought there was a proximate foul to the out-of-bounds play.
Pacers with it. 2-point lead. Going in strong. Getting fouled. Siakam went for the dunk. Got fouled on his way up. He'll shoot a pair with 1:21 to go in the half.
Well, free throw line has been a big plus for OKC so far. Kesty, they made 16 more free throws in the first 2 games. So far tonight, OKC 12 for 15. Indiana 7 for 9, but that's about to change.
Pascal Siakam will shoot the pair. Only 69% free throw shooter in the postseason. First is good. He's 2 for 3 tonight, so that's 14 for 18. Better percentage so far in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, he has shot it much better. He came, actually it changed in game 2. He struggled in game 1, then he went 8 for 9 in game 2.
3-point lead. Free throw up. 4-point lead. 60-56 Pacers. Final 80 seconds of the first half coming. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander passes half court. Shaded by Shepard. He's done a nice job against him tonight off the bench. Caruso setting a high screen. SGA rejects it. Now hits the cutting Caruso down the lane. Finds J-Dub underneath, who's fouled on a layup attempt. No good. Siakam didn't think he committed the foul. That'll be 3 on Pascal if it's on him. And free throws coming for OKC. It is on Siakam, his 3rd. That's 3 Pacers with 3 fouls.
He fouled him with his body. That's a good call. The quick double team on Shai. And again, Alex Caruso was the one who came up and set a screen. He went right to the rim. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander fouled him at the free throw line. And then Alex Caruso found J-Dub underneath the rim.
First free throw is good. Rick Carlisle's got to take out another member of his team with 3 fouls. Siakam heads to the bench. He'll join Nembhard and Nesmith, both with 3 fouls.
3 starters with 3 fouls for Rick Carlisle. But Rick's got to be happy. Overall, his defense is better, and the offense significantly better. Much more fast break, open court basketball than they've had in the first 2 games.
Jalen Williams hits both free throws. OKC within 2. We're under a minute to go in the half. T.J. McConnell working from the right down to the baseline, trying to tightrope walk it there and got bodied. He had no space on that end line. Cason Wallace ended up on the deck.
It's the basket away from us. I thought they called him out of bounds. They're in the bonus. He's going to get 2 free throws. I don't know why TJ still has the ball.
He got bodied by Cason Wallace. Wallace also kind of threw his left hip in there at the end. And TJ McConnell's going to end up at the free throw line. First foul on Wallace. 50 seconds left in the half. TJ McConnell. Free throw up and good. He's got 3 points off the bench, but that doesn't even begin to describe his effect so far with 4 assists. What, do you have 3 steals as well?
Yeah, he's been all over the place, getting offensive rebounds, steals, deflections. Meantime, they got 27 bench points already for the Pacers.
27-11 is the bench count. McConnell tries to make it 28. It's up. It is good, and that bench has lifted Indiana. 4-point lead, 62-58. Thunder now bring it up. 45 seconds to go in the half. SGA against Shepard. Into the front court. Now dribbling on the right side of the logo. Now attacks, splits a double, left-hand layups. Good! What a move by SGA. Beat 3 defenders, and Oklahoma City's within 2. 31 seconds to go in the half. Collision. T.J. McConnell keeps it. Finds the cutting Shepard. Knocked away by SGA. He was up in the air. He tried to pass, but he landed out of bounds before he did. It'll stay with Indiana on the other end.
Indiana's going to have an underneath out of bounds, which has been a little bit of a challenge for them. They get a fresh 24, though, Kesty. They can wind it down. Now, the referees are going to talk whether that should be a full reset or not. They can wind it down to basically to the very end about 1.1 second difference.
Here comes the inbound to Obi Toppin. 23 seconds to go in the half. Pacers were down by as many as 9. They lead by 2 as we approach halftime. T.J. McConnell standing dribble. Crowd gets to its feet cheering. All in gold T-shirts tonight. McConnell with 8 to shoot. Crosses over in the lane. Lifts, shoots, and scores! 4-point Pacer lead. 6 seconds to go in the half. Inbound SGA, crossing half court with 2. SGA at the three-point line, pumps it from 18, off the rim, no good. And the Pacers will lead by 4 here at halftime in Game 3.
Kesty, we said how they didn't score in the first quarter. First 2 games, Pacers had 45 and 41 points at the half. How about 64 tonight?
How about a 40-point second quarter for the Indiana Pacers, who lead by 4 at halftime against Oklahoma City. Coming up, Indiana's bench has shown up early as Jim Basquill and Corey Alexander. Will have more on that coming up next on our AutoZone halftime report. This is the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This Father's Day, help Dad be all he can be with a gift from the Home Depot, because he's not just Dad, he's the handyman of the house, the plumber in a pinch, and the emergency mechanic. Upgrade his gear this Father's Day with the Husky Mechanics 270-piece tool set from the Home Depot. Now on special buy for $119, a $695 value. For every kind of dad, find the perfect gift this Father's Day at the Home Depot.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
It's what you wait for all week. The three-pointers, the rebounds, the thrill of every shot. Win or lose, it's the hope that keeps you coming back. The dream that this time, it might be your year. And so you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when the pressure's on, your support is everything. That's why the NBA store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
This is the AutoZone Halftime Report on ESPN Radio. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Jim Basquill back on the AutoZone Halftime Report, reminding you the NBA Halftime Show is presented by AutoZone. Get in that zone, AutoZone. Halfway through, Pacers up 64-60. Let's bring in our point guard, Corey Alexander. And Corey, the bench edge for Indiana, 29-11. Huge lift for them. What could you say about what they did for this team?
Well, it started with T.J. McConnell to start the second quarter. Not only his distributing, but also 3 steals for him. Benedict Mathurin with 14 points, and the majority of that, if not all of it, coming in their second quarter as well. So those 2 guys in particular coming off the bench in the second quarter truly changed the fortunes of the Pacers.
And that was the case in Game 2 with regards to Oklahoma City getting 48 points from their bench. Meantime, we talked about the stars of this Pacer team needing to kind of lift their game. Well, halfway through, Tyrese Halliburton, 12 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. They got 13 points and 4 boards from Pascal Siakam. What were your impressions of their play early?
Well, Siakam started off the game extremely aggressive. He scored the first 6 points for the Pacers and seemed to take every shot. It still took Tyrese Halliburton a little bit of time to get into it, but he saw the energy and the effort that his teammates, specifically Benedict Mathurin, T.J. McConnell, were playing with to start that second quarter. When he checked back into the game, he had that same level of aggression and was able to pick up his offensive production.
They're at 64 points halfway through. This pace and point total, is this what Indiana wants the game to be?
This is absolutely what Indiana wants this game to be. If you look at it, if you multiply 64 by 2, you're talking about 128 points. That's where they want to be. They don't mind if the Oklahoma City Thunder score 120 as long as they get 128 in the win.
On the other side, Chet Holmgren, 15 points to lead 3 in double figures. Looked like SGA kind of let his mates kind of carry the load early. What could you say about the aggression from Chet for Oklahoma City?
That's exactly what OKC needed. They needed for Chet to be aggressive to start the game, and he was able to do it, attacking, getting the ball, going downhill. We often saw Chet bringing the basketball 94 feet after rebounds and not settling for jump shots, but trying to continue to put pressure on the Pacers defense to try to keep them out of the paint.
SGA 5 of 12 from the floor. Impressions of how Indiana has defended him here in Game 3.
They've done a tremendous job, honestly, when you consider that he only has 12 points on 12 field goal attempts. That is making him inefficient. He's a much more efficient player than that on a normal basis, so give all the defenders, because he's gotten everyone into foul trouble. Nembhard has 3, but give Ben Shepherd a lot of credit for him coming off the bench and doing a pretty good job on SGA as well. But we've all seen Shea. He's a better second-half performer than he even is in the first half. You go back to Game 1, he took 18 field goal attempts, was not very good in the first half, but turned it up in the second.
No doubt about it. We got a 64-60 game coming up next in the AutoZone halftime report. More from Corey Alexander with impressions of what he's looking forward to in the second half. We'll look back and ahead. You're listening to the NBA Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
If you're in construction, it's time to mark your calendars. Purple Wave Auction is selling Valfair Construction's premium fleet on June 12th. Their transparent process lets you bid with confidence on late model Cat, Volvo, and John Deere equipment located near you. From haul trucks to excavators, they've got your needs covered. Use their set max bid and walk away feature for stress-free bidding. This no reserve auction is a game changer for fleet upgrades. Start exploring at purplewave.com today. Purple Wave, where top-tier equipment meets unmatched convenience.
Kubota Orange Days delivers the savings you need for the life you love. Shop a wide selection of equipment at your local dealer, including America's #1 selling compact tractor, and get your perfect match delivered to your door. Designed for comfort and built for performance. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,000 off select compact tractors. Sales ending soon. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Great open house. You gonna put in an offer?
Nah, I'm just here for the hors d'oeuvres. I could never afford the down payment.
Well, you know Navy Federal Credit Union offers a home buyer's choice loan with no down payment options, right?
They do? That's incredible.
Sorry, what?
A home buyer's choice loan can open the door to home ownership. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval and eligibility requirements. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
This is the NBA Finals on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.